Hi everybody, welcome to the Man Alone Solo Role-Playing YouTube channel. Today we are going to be doing a review of Al-Rathak, Tales of the Crescent Kingdom, a solo or multiplayer RPG high adventure in a timeless land of sea and sand. This is by Charles F. Bryant II and Silver Nightingale. Charles did the writing and editing, Silver Nightingale the art and layout, and is my camera crooked or okay? And so this is a setting for any OSR system, really, but it is made or designed specifically for use with Kal-Arath by Castle Grief, who, if you don't follow Castle Grief Substack, you should. It's very good. And this is my printed copy of the PDF and my failure of binding it in any useful way. But I do have a physical copy on its way. I just want to be very clear that this is not the physical copy of it. I printed all of this out, so that's why it looks very janky. I'm sure that the final version of this will be quite nice. But I just wanted to mention that this is not part of the review, but necessarily we should know a little bit about this just because this is based on this system. So really quick, Kal-Arath is a sword and sorcery game, very much influenced by Conan the Barbarian. And if you know anything about like Frazetta art, that very muscular hero, glistening biceps. Everybody's wearing very little clothes, and it's all about those sort of brutal axe to the face attacks. It has probably one of the best, simplest systems that you can imagine. In fact, I just want to begin this review by saying this up top. If you are new to solo play, both of these are available as PDF on DriveThruRPG. They're both physical copies available on Lulu. And this is a system that if you're having a hard time getting into a solo game, if you're having, we talk about this month about using pre-generated characters and getting playing, this system is a system that I honestly am blown away by how straightforward it is, how easy it is to understand, how clear the writing is, how much everything makes sense. Now, the system, how well it works despite all that, right? Because you could have very simple systems that don't quite yield realistic or sort of fun outcomes, but there is a D6 resolution system. Basically, you try to roll over a number. It has very simple stats, and it has exploding dice, which are always fun. And I'll just introduce what this system is very briefly, but I do want to say that I was not compensated for this review. I want to make sure people know that. I did receive a physical copy of Al-Rathak and a PDF copy of Kal-Arath from Castle Grief, and this was from Charles F. Bryant. And so thank you to both for providing this, but I did not receive any other monetary compensation or anything for the review. And they're aware that I'm going to give an honest review. And just to kind of cut through the cheesecake here, my honest review is that this is incredible. And right now, if you get the PDF for Kal-Arath on DriveThru, Al-Rathak, even getting the other supplements for Kal-Arath, there's some other zines, 40, 50 pages called, one of them's Valley of the Black Ziggurat, and the other one is called Lord of the Pits. Yeah. And that whole deal, you could probably get all that, I think, for about $25. I might be wrong, but I'm going to link all of that below. Also available on Lulu. I will give a link for the physical copy as well. And I was really blown away by this. The whole package, but Al-Rathak this is something special, folks. So let's dive into it here really quick, just to give an overview of Kal-Arath. It is like I said, 2d6 resolution system, and it is going to for most things you're trying to get 8 or more. So you're rolling 2d6, you're adding your stat, and if you get more than 8 plus, then you succeed. Whenever you roll a double 6, that's a crit success. And whenever you roll a double 1, that is a crit failure. In any roll, that's like a cumulative damage roll. If you roll a 6, it's an exploding die, and you roll it again. And if you roll another 6, you roll it again. And so it's super fun to just like, you get a 6, and it's sort of like a crit. You get super excited when you see it, and then you roll it again, and you could roll 2 or 3 6s in a row, and then you add all those up, and you do like 56 damage on somebody or something, and it feels so good. And sometimes it should be like that, because again, it's Conan the Barbarian. Like sometimes it's going to be a really close fight, and sometimes it's not even. It's going to be like the hypothetical of like how many preschoolers could you withstand if they swarmed you in a gymnasium. So for advantage or disadvantage, you roll 3d6, take the best or worst 2 respectively. And for character creation, simple as a goose. It's you get 4 points to distribute amongst 5 stats, and those stats are, and I guess I could show the Kal-Arath character sheet. Wait a minute, where is that? Yeah, 2 6s is always a crit success. 2 1s is always a crit failure. Did I put it here? There we go. So that is the Kal-Arath character sheet. And so you divide up 4 points here. You cannot go higher than +2 in any category. You can go -1 in one of them as a modifier to get an additional point in another one. But I think just the distribution of these points represents a big focal, sort of the fulcrum of the mechanic of this game is like, you can get something good, but it has a cost. And this is even reflected in the magic system in this game, which is like, you can make demonic pacts. But if you do that, you have to get like I think it's a taboo. And anyone could make them. You can make a blood pact, destruction, corruption, illumination, shadow, damnation, or domination is the other one. And so you'll just roll 2d6 plus your intelligence and whatever versus the spell tier difficulty. So different spells like have different difficulty levels. And if you fail, you get some damage and no more spells, right? And so this is, again, it's like, okay. Oh, sorry. I don't know why I said taboos. Dooms. You get dooms. Like, for instance, you can get... you have to choose one when making a pact, so you could have something that says like, oh, you have to make a sacrifice every month, or you can't wear any metal gear. Solid. I had to say it. I don't know why. You level up based on XP, and you can choose one of 2 things, which is like add HP or put +1 in any stat up to a maximum of 5. There is options to modify any stats by level. So like if you are a level 2 and you're fighting someone who's a level 4, you could add +2 to the difficulty of things just to reflect that higher level. The skills are formatted like archetypes, and there's warrior, rogue, mystic, explorer, and then there's another one here, and there's some other ones in the other zines that I mentioned. But very simple, honestly. Like that's it. Like you can get your character up and going with everything I just said, and you can get playing. It is super fast. Everything makes a lot of sense. There's an awesome reference sheet here, which has pretty good oracles on it for just like a reference sheet. And it also has, and this is awesome for solo play, this daily procedure, rolling for weather. You have to see if you get lost, you can forage, etc., etc. So all of this stuff is going to be available in Al-Rathak, but there's additional optional things as well. And I know that sometimes when you're learning a new system, you go, I don't want to add any optional stuff. I need to learn the core stuff. But take a look at if you get Al-Rathak, take a look at the optional stuff because it's really simple and there's some really cool ideas in there. For combat, you roll d6 plus your initiative. If you roll a 4 or more, you go first. If you don't, the enemy goes first. Action per turn, you move and attack. Say you're doing melee, you roll 2d6 plus your strength. If you get 8 or more, you hit. Ranged is the same thing for agility. Magic is same thing for intelligence. You can get a crit, success, crit failure. All right. And then you roll your damage dice. You subtract modifiers for the enemy's armor and figure, resolve out their HP. You want to dodge an enemy attack? 2d6 plus your agility. Was it 8 or higher? You succeeded. So, and then there's exploding dice. There's level modifiers. You do morale checks, very, very similar to a lot of other games. This is casting spells, and then there's this health and death where you roll on this death and wounding table to see what fate you have. And then the rest of the book is pretty much oriented towards just like travel, doing hex crawling, points of interest, encounters, and bestiary in the back, little bestiary. Look how simple the stat loadouts are. Fantastic. Okay, so I think that's a good enough overview just of that. And let's talk now specifically about Al-Rathak, which, as I said, it is any OSR system can be used, but it is specifically made for Kal-Arath. And it has like the main I would say the main modification, broadly speaking, is that it's going to add this sort of like high seas component. And it is this it's a sort of mythical what is it called? A sultanate? I forgot what a kingdom with a sultan is called. Let's take a look at the physical book. So inside Dust Jacket cover has this spark table, fantastic placement. This is the hardcover book. There's both a regular and a deluxe one, very affordable. On the back, it's that daily procedure, just like we had in Kal-Arath, but it's broken out even more. I love the art here by Silver Nightingale. Very simple scheme, just 2 colors. Very immersive. You can see right there what kind of situation we're dealing with here. This is a bird-friendly game. If we take the jacket off, simple but very nice feel to it. This is something I added here because I just clipped those pages because I want to make sure I don't show them. It's not necessarily a spoiler, but one of the cool things about this game, especially if you're a new solo player, is there's like a definitive direction you're going in. You're trying to get audience with the Sultan, and you have to do stuff before you do that. And then there's that section is like something maybe that will happen because of or before that audience or after it. And so you can grab the game for that. Al-Rathak is a land of mystery and moonlight where the air hums with secrets and the night sky glows with the light of distant stars. Sailors, explorers, warriors, mystics, and rogues jostle in the bustling streets of it's Anipsed, so I think it'd be Anipsed. Anipsed. Anipsed sounds better to me, to my dumb ears. Each driven by their own ambitions, setting out to complete quests and endure trials in the enigmatic land of Al-Rathak and the vast treacherous sea of the whispering winds. The veiled city of Anipsed, perched at the mouth of the fabled river of silver tears, beckons adventurers of all kinds, whether they arrive by ship, bearing tales from the ocean's depth, or by camel crossing endless deserts to reach this place of fortune and peril. Okay. In Al-Rathak, known as ever truly safe, every step is fraught with opportunity and danger. Again, back to that opportunity and danger thing. This is it. Like, do you want to take this advantage? Well, it comes with a cost. The new skill, which is sort of the archetype, is Sailor. You get to roll forage with advantage. You can roll a sea encounter check at advantage or disadvantage, and you can sail ships. And there is a section on ships. And I must confess, sorry. Did you think of a lyric when I said that? That I usually don't feel great about seafaring vessel sections in games, even when they're quite pared down. I think there's some exception. I'm good with Pirate Borg, has pretty good. Tefratic Nightmares does good in as far as it has a coherent vision of that. This is there's no part of this that I'm going, wait, what? There were very few parts of this entire book where I was like, wait, what is this talking about? The writing, it's just so straightforward. Everything is spelled out. This is people who know not only what needs to be included in a solo game, but also how to convey that information to solo players, because we have a different perspective and different concerns. And sometimes that causes us to read and interpret things differently. And so I think this is very much written to the solo player. Tons of options here. This is D86 point of interest table for out at, this is by sea. And this here is overland points of interest. And then we have overland encounters, D66, and by sea and island encounter chart. And then we have one for the River of Silver Tears. And then we have cities. Okay, so one of the things we're going to notice here is it says, use the city crawl rules from LP for creating and navigating cities in Al-Rathak. So LP is Lords of the Pit. And again, this is one place where I do get a little slowed down in this book. I'm not sure what we could do about this, given it is a supplement, it's a setting. I do think that there is a lot of going back and forth between these different documents, and again, I don't know what to do about that, but because it's based on these, but sometimes, I almost wish that this was like, I know that, well, I don't know anything about it. I know that, there is, this was somebody who wanted to create a setting for a game that they really loved. And when you do that, you can't just like take the text from the game that you love unless the author specifically says so. And very rarely will an author say like, oh yeah, take whatever you want. Sometimes, like for supplements I've made, you reach out and you say, hey, the way that you explain something or a diagram you use, I think it'd be really helpful if my players could just see it. Can I use that sentence or that paragraph or that diagram? But very rarely will you have a situation where somebody's like, yeah, just take whatever you want. And so I guess what I was trying to verbalize is like, I'm not insinuating there is any sort of like acrimonious relationship here. I think as far as I know, they're on very good terms. But what I am saying is that like, it's one of those things that I just wish instead of having to look up the city crawl rules on 43 to 44, that they were just here. That would be like an idealized thing. Hey, maybe in the future there could be something like that. It's not a big deal. It's not at all. But I would say that that's the only place here that I got a little bit slowed down was referring back and forth, and then also going back and forth between the different supplements. That did cause some disorientation sometime because there are similar tools, and this is very much a man alone's like mind deficiency thing, but I'm sure I can't be the only one, is that I start losing track of like which system I'm using. And then I start feeling like, okay, wait a minute, what am I doing here? What's going on? But I must say that the city creation system here, it's really, really good. I mean, it's sort of incredible that this is 103 pages because it just works. Like everything is just on point. There's factions, trials. And then, as I was going through it, I was saying, well, this is really good, but everything there's too many specific things, like every quest is so specific. I wish they had more generative stuff. And then all of a sudden I'm like, page 72. It's totally just like action, subject, key location, complication. And it's exactly that thing I wanted, which is the ability to like use different ideas and create emergent scenarios that are all my own. And as you read through a lot of the missions and stuff like that, they seem specific, but they actually are quite open-ended. And I encourage everybody too to check out, in addition to Castle Grief Substack, that the author has a Substack as well, who did some playthroughs of this game. If you're not convinced, I think those playthroughs, their text, they do a really good job of showing that off. And you look at, this is by Silver Nightingale, I believe, right? Is it? I think it is. Wait a minute. Yeah, this is by Silver Nightingale. Not for this game specifically, but is this individual who did the layout, so I think this would work great. I mean, just using this and filling this in, it feels good, man. Feels really, really good. And it's really has a lot of the psychological brain treats that we want in solo play. Okay, it has a daily loop. Okay, this cycle that we go through. It has generators so that you can create surroundings, NPCs, interactions. It has a simple system that does not barge in and push things out of the way. You can remain immersed in the fiction with this very simple 2d6 system. Tons of oracles to direct you with ideas, tons of oracles to give you some clues and work from there. Even the oracle inside the front dust jacket here. This is an action descriptor noun. And, these are the kind of things that when you go to an NPC, you use these for what I think is one of the main methods of propulsion for this game. Forward thrust is quests. You really want to be looking for quests. And in some ways, I think I will one day do an essay on this channel about how really a lot of solo play is looking for quests, completing the quests, and then like moving forward on a bigger quest. And then also how that's pretty much every game, and also that's pretty much your life as well, but I won't go that far in this video. The reference sheet is Malto good. Why do I keep losing it? I mean, I'm not like losing it. I'm losing it, man. I'm saying I keep losing the reference sheets. You see what I mean? This is what happens. So yeah, I mean, take a look at this here. So we have Fate. I think this this does have a system where if you're using blue, white, and green dice, you get an extra reroll. If your name is Sinbad, you get one extra fate point at the beginning of the game. And it, like I'm saying, your real name, like you. And then it also says that if you have a colored dice bonus, using blue, white, and green dice grants 1 free reroll per adventure. Use blue for 10s and white for 1s on D66. Blue for 10s. Okay. Well, do I have blue and white, but do I have green? I have everything. I will be taking 700 free rerolls. Don't come at me, Charles Bryan. I am the dice man. Wait a minute. That might be copyrighted by Andrew Dice Clay, so I recant that statement. Okay. So, really quick, just looking back. Let me get myself in order here. Please excuse me. You know what? As John Goodman says in The Big Lebowski, made like if it's adapted for TV, frick it, dude. Let's go bowling. I.e., let's play a little bit here. Okay, so we know all my characters on this channel are named Jorma. My title, I think it's Mr. Jorma. So we know that we have 4 points to distribute here. And let me see. Get a little more intimate. So we have 4 points here. And maybe if we look at what sort of let's do a sailor. Okay, let's do the sailor. So our new skills here. Okay, so as far as these skills, on level 1 we choose one of these, and I think it's levels 3, 5, 8, I forgot, but future levels we can choose additional ones. If we continue to level, we can stack some of them. Now, I think there's some that have asterisks, and I'm not sure if those are asterisks or just pluses, but those mean that they don't stack, but that's not really that important at this point. So let's just see what we have here. Roll forage at an advantage when at sea or in a river hex. And so if we're rolling forage for our porridge, is it says forage. So I would have to assume, yeah, so that's a 1d6 result, and I bet you that there is a modifier for that. Let's just look in the core book. All right, you got me, okay? I've been exposed. I forgot to forage when I did my prep game for this. Forage does not have a modifier, but you go 50. You do half movement for the day if you decide to forage, and we could do that at advantage when at sea, presumably because it's like we're fishing, such as it says in parentheses, or we're in a river hex. We can choose to roll a sea encounter check at advantage or disadvantage. May sail ships with at least half the required crew. It get advantage on getting lost. Makes sailor. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I have a D5 somewhere, I will roll a D5 for this. Let's check it out. Could this be a D5? Tis. Right. Two. All right, so that means we will may choose to roll a sea encounter at advantage or disadvantage. All right, and we'll just put 1 sea and why it would be advantage or disadvantage is probably because sometimes you really want to avoid a bad encounter, and sometimes you really want one, right? You really want to level up or get some food or loot or whatever in any game, whatever the prospect of fighting having an encounter would be. And not all encounters are combat either. So, okay. So there is a new spell pact here called the Pact of Immolation. I'm not sure if we are going to start with a spell pact. We can do that in game. And then there's these two new weapons, the Kanjar and the Scimitar. I've never known how to say it. Is it Scimitar? Which is very on brand. And new equipment. And all of the prices are always just like scaled to D6s. It's really, I think it's great. I think it's great. And then we have different hirelings and crew. We have to pay them per week. We have to feed them. And if we're short on silver, we have to make a successful presence check, 8 or more, to see if there's willing to take a share of all the treasure you find while they are under your employment instead of weekly pay. Don't forget to name your hirelings using the table. Awesome. And then each of them have like some traits you could roll up really easily. The new combat rules, I think they're very good. So the first one is that it adds a chase or pursuit mechanic when you're in ships. Really good. And I mean, if you can, and I don't think it's giving too much away, pause this and read this. Look at how simple this is. Like, think about how complicated other games make something like this, and look at how simple this is. And then this is a randomization of enemy combat tactics, which is probably, this should get used in every solo game being played. We have a bunch of names. And this is where we will roll on 2d6 for our starting quest or adventure. Now, there is a 13 here, but that can only be done after we have received an audience with the Sultan. And so, again, that's what I have like clipped shut. It just because, you know, we want to maintain the nice mystery of the game. All right, 7. Isle of Black Palms. You are a sailor searching for the hidden treasure hidden beneath the ruins on the Isle of the Black Palms in the Sea of the Whispering Winds. Whenever you discover an island, roll 2d6, add +1 to your roll for each island you have explored. On a roll of 11 to 12, you have discovered the Isle of the Black Palms in the ruins. You see that? Do you see how that do you see the mechanism there? How elegant that is. Soak that up. This is so that you have something to work for. You're progressing in a linear way. You have mysteries to discover, but also it's not, you know, this boring thing where it's like, I have 1 mystery, now 2, now 3, 1. You explore these islands. All right. We're going to be hungry for that exploration. And then we roll on the dungeon table. You also cannot proceed to the end of the game unless you complete 1 quest linked to your fate roll here. And so this is a big one because you get an automatic audience with the Sultan if you do that. Cool. So that's why we're there. The spark table is, again, very good. This has quantity, quality, size here. Daily procedure, exploration. See right here. You can see it. You go to page 23 to 25. See Kal-Arath 23. See 23 to 31. Determine. But, you know, to be honest, like a lot of these things, A, are going to become very second nature after you do them several times. And B, between these 2 sheets from Kal-Arath and Al-Rathak, which are available with the game, you're really not going to have a hard time you know, figuring out how to do these. And so, okay. Now we know that I am a sailor, and what I'm trying to do is like think here for anything that would put me in one direction or another as far as like what stat I would like to be the highest stat here. Okay. Oh, by the way, we have to name the Sultan of Anepsed right at the beginning of the game. And so that's one of the starting instructions right at the beginning. I almost forgot, and I would have been, I think what they said is if you don't do that, you burst. You just burst. All right. $15. Rashid. 55. This number is cursed. Rashid Al-Darwish. Al-Darwish. So that is the Sultan's name. Sultan Rashid Al-Darwish. And that is... All right. Cool. So let's look at chase mechanics. Okay, that uses agility. I'm thinking agility, right? Like that seems to be the thing that would be helpful for a sailor. Obviously, combat will always be good. I suppose it depends like what my my weapon of choice is. Sea vessels and ship combat. Different ships here. Weather tables. Change by season. This is such a wonderful point of interest. Just enough. Just enough. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and claim that I don't love me like a D700,000. I love it when well, I'll just say it. I love it when game creators kind of lose the grip on reality and they start being like, just roll 200 D20s on in your grandmother's slippers. But for most of the time when I'm looking to just giddy up and go, D66 does the trick. All right, so now you want to see the long and arduous process for our equipment in this game? Well, get ready. I hope that your Tuesday's clear. We can carry strength plus 8 items. More than that, all physical rolls are with disadvantage. At twice that number, you can't move. For starting gear, we roll a d6 times 10. 10. That is 10 silver. Then we choose a weapon. And let's see. I think a hatchet sounds pretty nice. What's a nice, like, sailor weapon? Maybe a sword, right? I mean, yeah, if you know what, I was feeling the I like the idea of a nice dagger. Let's do that. All right. And then we roll d6 for total rations. 3. All right. So now, as far as how HP goes, that's usually your toughness plus d6, but you can max it out for solo play, especially, I would say. So we'll do a dagger, and we'll fill in 3 rations. And we'll give ourselves an extra die for silver just because we're nice to ourselves. We won't multiply it by 10, but I can't even see that die. 4. Okay, so 14 silver, level 1, 0 XP. I don't see silver. Oh, right there. Okay. And for the dagger, that can be thrown with agility. I don't need to type. I remember that. And damage is d6. So there's this notation of d6a, which means d6 with advantage. Roll 2d6, take best when grappling or enemy prone. Damage. So we'll just put d6a when grappling or prone. And if I melee it, it's not going to like yo-yo back to me. D6A if grapple. Grappling is something I never do in games. I'm always like, why? Why do I want to do this? This is like the worst part of a boxing match. Okay. Anything else? It says that's it. Now survive. But we never chose our stats. And so let's just take a minute to do that here. So... and yes, I know I was supposed to figure that out at first, but it's like I need to be cautious here. So I think I want to be charismatic. I think I need to be tough. I think I need to be agile. I think I want to not think so hard. And I think I want some strength. And so my HP will be 1 plus 6, so we'll go 7 out of 7. There you have it. Ready to play. We know why we know what we're doing, right? And so we just start the exploration phase. And now this is a review, not a playthrough, but just for the sake of seeing what that's like, why don't we just roll a 2d6 for weather? Well, what season would it be? Let's say that is fall. Okay, 66, but that's a crit, but not on this kind of thing. So 12, roll on special weather chart. So for the fall, a 6, dust clouds, -2 getting lost, -1 forage. So in just 2 rolls, I rolled 3 6s, and the only rolls in the game, oracle rolls, where 6s don't do anything good for you. And I immediately put myself in the worst position possible. If you are in a forest, jungle, or mountain hex and not following a road, there's a -1 modifier to getting lost die roll. And the getting lost is a 1 to 2 on a d6. I got a 5. So we do a -1 on, or -2 on getting lost. So that's a 3. But luckily we're not on and not following a road or river. Well, we don't even really know where we are right now. That was probably something that we should have determined first. Although I think it said we started on the, was it Silver Sea? Sorry, I didn't have my head totally screwed in when we were going through that because I didn't. Okay. Well, anyways, you get the point. All right, let me zoom out and do closing thoughts. All right. The first game that I played solo was a game by somebody who, rightfully so, gets thanks in the opening of this book, Sean Tompkin, for creating Ironsworn. And I played Starforged. And Starforged is an incredible game. I remember being in my kitchen, and I was amazed by the amount of customization for the player, for the mission, for the world, deciding things about what sort of universe I was creating, about the planets and making star maps. That was day 1. And by day 2 of me playing, I was so eager to play. I was so eager. I just wanted to play. And it got to the point where I just kind of like skipped ahead and said, I just got to play. And I think, honestly, this set me back because that's part of my nature is if I don't read the instructions, I'm going to build the table wrong. And at the same time, rather than being critical of myself, I need to recognize that is part of my personality. I have a personality that I want to go. And if you are that type of person, you just want to get in there, you want to start playing. There's so many ideas of what games are the right game, what system's the right system, what's the perfect experience, what notebook do you need, everything. I want to recommend this game to anybody in that position who is looking for a game that they can start playing right now. And it's not a game that you could start playing right now because it's like Stick Figure Simulator and your options are to breathe or chew cauliflower. This is a fully realized game. It is an implied, heavily, masterfully implied setting. The author and illustrator have a definitive vision of the world they wanted to create. You recognize that world even if you can't name it. It is sort of like several century old, the sort of world of Indiana Jones, and whichever one it was that the guy tried to get in a sword fight with him and he shot him. Okay, so I'm getting several calls right now from my mother, which is concerning, but she does this. So I don't want to shortchange this game, though. I want to wrap up. It is not just for beginners. I am just doing this review. I'm excited to play this because I need games that I can dip into and dip out of. And I think, one of the essays that I talked about in Kal-Arath just talks about setting time limits for your gameplay so that you're always hungry for more. And I think that in order to successfully do that, you need a game that it's possible to slide into that game in a way that you feel like you're controlling the car and that the car's not controlling you. And this is a great game for that. I'm trying not to be so effusive, because I get a lot of games that come through. I see some fantastic games, but this is a special game. I hope that you pick it up. If you pick up PDF, you could use my affiliate link below. Definitely help out the channel. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Again, I want to thank Charles Bryant, Silver Nightingale, for this copy, as well as Castle Grief for the PDFs and for just having an awesome Substack and being an awesome part of the community. And that is a wrap. All right. I think we're done filming. All right. Let me just call all these people here to tell them I did not get my payment yet. Oh, crap. That was just a bit. There's no money changing hands. You guys know me. I'm always joking about stuff. It's a joke. It's a joke, okay? I wasn't born wealthy. I need help.